On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the place where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Welcome home, Brains.
Coming to you straight from San Diego, California. Let's welcome our host, April Mahoney.
He got his hello brains. That's Quentin. That's my dude, Quentin Anderson. He got his Hello Brains bib on. Welcome home, Brains, to On the Edge with April Mahoney. Here, this is the spot. Right here, this is the place where the conversations are pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. You know, I've been doing all of my podcast Potluck series. I didn't wear my hat. I wanted to fluff my afro out for y'all today. But we're going to talk about real estate. What is going on with the real estate? Folks is nervous. Okay, I was just with Susannah and we were talking about, some properties. I was just talking to Quentin. He works with a lot of people with commercial properties. We're going to talk a little bit about if you're in escrow, what's going on? Maybe some folks still got money and they want to buy a piece of property. What if you are a business owner and you're one of these strip malls or one of these big high rises and you have some commercial property? We want to talk about the ebbs and flows in the market. What's it looking like? Because these are scary times and folks are afraid to move. They're stuck. So again, I want to welcome Susannah Levicki down there. She is with Capitis Real Estate. Is it realty or real estate?
Real estate, Capitis Real Estate.
Capitis Real Estate. And then we have Quentin over there with his Hello Brains bib on, and he is with Dream Homes, California. Now, Quentin was a Edgy Award winner before. We've talked to him before, so he's a friend of the show. And Susannah has been my friend forever. And you're talking about selling these two, that's who you need to get with. So, Quentin, tell my brains a little bit about you and Dream Homes, California.
Okay. Well, I got my license in 1986, maybe before you two were even born. Huh?
Oh, we're all about the same age.
Okay. Then I started working for one of the larger brokerages. And in 2001, I became a broker, opened my own office, quickly ramped up to about 26 agents. Opened a branch in Los Angeles as well, with about 15 agents. I also had hair at that time, so
with all these agents, you would think you had a secret service.
Yeah, I did have a secret service. Unfortunately, it didn't remain secret. No matter where I was, my phone was always ringing.
Well, that's a good thing.
It became very tough to take vacations because the agents always needed to know their passcodes or, how to do this or how to do that. So fast forward to 2008, I downsized my office, kept 3 agents, and seemed to make just as much money with 3 agents as I did with about 40. So lowered my overhead quite a bit.
But you're also an amazing father. You home co-parent with your mom. Well, how's your mom doing, by the way?
Actually, my mom just had her 84th birthday.
Oh.
And she's doing great. I talked to her about what it feels like to be in your 80s, because I'm just curious about age. What did you feel like when you hit 50 or when you hit 60 or 70? Right. So she says she doesn't feel like she's in her 80s. She feels like people in their 80s, she hasn't attained that age yet. And I kind of understand that, being where I'm at and thinking, gosh, it doesn't feel like I'm in my 50s. But yeah.
I know. All 3 of us still, by the grace of God, have parents that are octogenarians or older. What do you call a person 90? Because my mother's 90. She's that.
Fortunate.
Yeah. Survivor.
Absolutely. So, Susannah, tell my brains a little bit about you and how you show up in the real estate world.
Well, I've been selling real estate since 2005. I was an office manager in San Diego for a real estate company, and then I moved to Idaho and received my license out there and sold real estate, did some commercial deals out there as well. And now I'm back here in California. I have a family, my son, Liam, and my husband. We are homeschooling right now, so it's a little tricky, but it's been good. So the real estate market is something that has interested me for many, many years before I became a real estate agent. Previous to that, I'm from the technology world, so I have received my degree in information technology, and everybody kept saying, why are you not selling real estate? It sounds like it would be a perfect type of thing for you to be doing, perfect business. And I went with it, and it's been wonderful ever since. So we have an office here in Fallbrook. I work with Capitis Real Estate, and they have an office here for me. We have 7 agents and growing. We also have agents based out of Palm Springs, Palm Desert, Yucca Valley, and Redlands. And, we're growing. So, and it's a great company.
Both of you guys are amazing realtors. And it's not just the fact that you know how to sell a house, is that you care about your clients, you take great care, you deep dive, you really try to, give them all the information as possible. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to give them some information. This coronavirus has changed life as we've known it previously. It will never be the same. I don't care the emotional trauma, the financial debacle that we're in, our leadership, the way that we interact with people, homeschooling, all of that has changed. So, Susannah, I want to ask you a little bit about rentals. Okay, there's a lot of people that are scared to death because rent is coming due. And I'm not a renter, but I understand what that looks like. So what are the options that people have if they are facing eviction and they just can't pay their rent until they get their stimulus or unemployment? And that still may not be enough.
Yeah, the most that they can do at this point is to, one, communicate with your landlord. It's so important to do that at this point, to let them know exactly what's going on. If there's any unemployment issues, if someone's sick, they have to be in touch with their landlord. Right now, there is, within Southern California, California in general, there's a moratorium on evictions until May 31st. And they have been told that there's no evictions going on currently until that time. So if they can call their landlords and work out maybe a payment plan with them. I have some rentals currently where they're working out paying half rent for the next 2 months until they can maybe get back on their feet. If they are unemployed, find some employment, or get maybe unemployment. I know that there's many delays in unemployment right now. And there are so many landlords that are actually working with tenants right now and understanding that there is and are issues out there, of course. So
right.
Main thing is communication.
Right. But there's some
I have a question.
Yep.
Okay. Quentin, before my comment.
Oh, sorry. You go. No.
No, because there's some trickery out there too. I saw in the news where they're still asking for rent increases, really? Or where they are not honoring this moratorium that has been set forth by the government. But we'll talk more about that. And that's not everybody. Yeah. But I'm just saying that there's some stuff going on out there too that people need to be aware of.
Yes.
And know that you have some rights. Quentin, your question?
Yeah, so...
and Quentin, you had a question?
Yes. So I'm a landlord, and I have a tenant that I gave a notice that I plan to sell my property. I gave them that notice back in October, letting them know that I plan to put my property on the market April 1st. So of course now we run into this COVID-19, and my tenant is still in there. They still have paid the rent. Okay. And now my situation is that I needed that money to take advantage of another investment. And that investment is fairly significant. And so, I don't want to evict my tenant. Yet at the same time, if I miss out on this other opportunity, it really affects some things. So what's your advice? Because the other thing is that the tenant is trying to find a place to move to. but they're having limited opportunities to actually see any of these places. They've seen them virtually, but they want to touch it, feel it, smell it as well.
The main thing is, like I was saying before, to work with your tenants, to just work with your tenant, try to see if you can also do some searches out there and maybe find another agent that would be willing to work with your clients to find them a spot.
And too, Quentin, money is a motivator, a little incentive, a little, maybe, I don't know what you're able to do, but a free month's rent could help them hurry up and move. When folks got a little extra jing in their pocket, they can accelerate it. And then you can make it up on the back end. But I don't know.
You can also, if you're going to be putting it on the market, we have currently this home that's on the market. And if for some reason they weren't able to find a place, we would have also put in the remarks that the home also has tenants that are occupying. Maybe somebody would want to buy it as an investment property. That's an option at the same time. So if you put it, I would still put it on the market, get it out there, and put it as a investment property or as a home that would be maybe you have occupancy in about 45 to 60 days, but you can really try to make it work in your favor if you help with the process.
Yeah, sure.
So now, Quentin, let's talk about people that are in commercial real estate. These strip malls, high rises, there's a lot of legalese with that lease on commercial properties. They get in, I have no idea. They have to pay that, what is it? It's not a homeowners association, but it's a common use.
Common use, triple net.
Yeah, triple net, they have to pay that. And then they don't do a lease for 6 months or a year, 1 year. They do it sometime for 2-3 years. And just think of a business that maybe is a barbershop or a hair salon or a nail salon. There's no activity there. What should they be aware of? What's going on and what does that look like?
Yeah, right now I would say that the average lease is probably at least 5 years.
Ooh.
I mean, most agents are looking at doing 5-year leases. I know I do, at least 5 years, especially on the smaller properties. Most of the times agents, it's just not going to be worth their time to negotiate a lease for less than 5 years. So now you're in a lease for 5 years and we run smack dab into COVID-19 and you're only in for, let's say you've been in for 7 months and the governor says you can't operate your business. Look at the lease and see if there's any provisions in there that allow you to skip rent during any type of economic disaster. Most of the times that disaster is related to if the building has been demolished or destroyed or somehow you can't enter the building. But we're in this new territory where in most cases those leases wouldn't have had a provision of, hey, what happens if the governor shuts us down? So you as a tenant, I think you need to go to your landlord. I think all landlords right now understand what's going on and say, hey, I can't operate my business. I don't have the money to make a payment on the lease. I think most landlords are going to figure some way to compromise with you, just as well as a residential landlord is going to have to find a way to compromise. And then for some of the bigger companies, they really have leverage now because, let's say they've taken on a 20,000 square foot building with a 20-year lease and they're paying premium rates. For instance, I just heard that Subway and a couple other major corporations now, Staples, they're saying they're not paying their leases and they want to renegotiate. Yikes. So let's say, San Diego, let's say you're downtown, you're paying $4 a square foot, but you have no business, but you've got a 20,000 square foot property. So you're going to go back to your landlord and say, hey, obviously I can't pay that. I have no business. So I want to take that lease that I had for 20 years and I'm going to reduce it down to 10 years. And I want a 30 or 40 or 50% markdown on what I'm paying now until our market comes back. So there's a lot of things that you can do as a tenant to negotiate because really the landlord really has no leverage to make you pay. I mean, the governor has said, you can't operate your business.
Right. Well, in New York, Governor Como, who's my dude, okay, um, he has put a moratorium on mortgage and rent completely. Now,
Just for commercial?
Hmm?
For commercial?
I don't know if it's commercial. I'm pretty much thinking it's residential, but I
Yeah,
didn't,
it's kind of like fend for yourself in commercial business.
because you're in business. But you can't get a small business loan because the website keeps crashing, or these big boys are getting all the money and these little people are suffering. So it's awful. But again, brains, know that there are options and there's choices, and the number one option is communication. You can't sit there and just think automatically that what applies to one is the blanket conversation for everybody. It's not. You need to communicate with them. If you can pay your rent, don't sit there and try to stack your loot, because it's going to come back and haunt you. Go ahead and pay something. And then that shows good faith, that shows integrity. Your landlord will want to work with you. But then I'm thinking about the landlords on the back end, okay?
The
Because,
landlord, yes.
they still have a mortgage to pay to the bank too. So what do they say? Oh, okay, well, my tenant can't pay because they can't do hair in this commercial property, or my tenant can't pay because they're unemployed, but they still owe a mortgage to the bank. So it really starts at the top down. It's the trickle down.
Yeah, I'm both. I'm both a tenant and a landlord.
Right.
I also have that the fitness center.
Right.
And
right.
we can't train anybody in that fitness center right now. So we've got rent payments on a facility that we can't operate. So I'm on both sides of this thing.
Exactly.
Being an owner and a landlord.
And then you're a homeowner. You still have to take care of your family. So that's what I'm saying. So you
I think this is also not so much a cliche, but it is a chance for everybody to reassess how they do business. I mean, how much space do you really need? And then for those that have space, are we going to now start redefining how that space is utilized? Obviously, we're talking about having this 6-foot space in between the next coworker. So there's a lot of challenges, and I think there's a new opportunity to rethink how you've configured your business, how you operate your business. And a lot of people will find that they can work from home a lot more efficiently.
Right.
And watch their kids and make sure that their kids are actually getting educated based on their strengths and weaknesses. Because, in school, you've got a classroom of 18 kids, and imagine that they all learn at the same speed and comprehend everything.
What school? That must be a private school. I'm looking at some 20, 25.
Well, I was being conservative,
right?
On average.
Yeah.
They're trying to pack them in there, and it's not good. Susannah, I want to talk to you a little bit about, what if a person is currently in escrow? What does that look like? Because I'm hearing that there's a lot of changes going on with that. The terms and conditions to get qualified, pre-qualified have changed. Lenders are really skeptical because they see, 25% of the U.S. Population of employees is unemployed. So again, how are they going to go and get here in San Diego a $500,000 2-bedroom, 1-bath, and they're unemployed?
Well, right now we're seeing in the residential market, if you're currently in escrow, there have been some delays with some lenders coming up with what's called the COVID conditions. Towards the end of the loan, I've had several that had these conditions that needed to be met with more, more income. Some of them had to have more savings that they had to set aside and show. So at this point, with the processing right now, there's limited people that are working in these areas. So we just have to be patient. But escrows are still going through and people are still buying homes. There are people still calling on a daily basis looking for property. Some people are looking for to get out of the situation that they're in with the rental market. Maybe they know, then they see that it's so volatile for them right now. So to be able to buy something and maybe they still have employment, they are looking to find a place that they would actually have a little bit more security. So the market is still good at this point, as far as if you can afford and if you have a job, and things are still moving forward. Nothing's stopped yet.
Well,
Yeah, we actually just for the month of April had an uptick of 23% more homes closed in April than in March. So
wow. Well, these are people that
people
are
are
already in the process of getting
People
a
are
property.
I think what is happening now, people are, I don't know if you would call it COVID-19 fatigued or just informationed out, but I think if you had been looking for a home, now you're just like, hey, I'm ready to do this. I'm tired of hearing, wear a mask, don't wear a mask. You got to have gloves, don't wear gloves, stay in. You can go to the beach, you can't go to the beach. I think people are just starting now to become fatigued with all the information, and they're no longer putting their life on hold. So I think that's why you saw that uptick.
But see, they're thinking in their mind for some reason, if this was just a temporary pause, it's still going on, brains. Okay. And it's more prevalent than ever because now people are ignoring. They don't have, shorts on, and they're not cleaning their hands. They don't have a mask on. They're just acting like this is a regular old day. Well, y'all can do whatever the hell you want to do. I'm staying at home. I'm staying on the edge. I'm talking to y'all. I'm trying to be safe. So it's really, really a very tenuous time. Quentin, I want to ask you a little bit about, when you are looking for a lender, what kind of conversation are we having with lenders right now to try to get some money, to get pre-qualified, to even start looking for a place?
Well, I've been working with the same lender for about 20 years. And the reason being is because I know that he's going to get the point straight. He's not going to have any, I like the word you use, trickery, so that at the end they find out, oh, they need more money, or it costs them more points, something. He doesn't play any tricks with the people. And especially he's very patient, making sure that the people are able to ask any questions, because, with lending and real estate, there's so much terminology that people don't understand. And then there's, 200 pages of documents that they need to sign, and most people are never going to read them or understand what they've signed. So I've stuck with the same lender all these years because I know that they'll walk them through every step, any question that they have. And if they're feeling reluctant in any way or nervous about something, he's patient enough to get them through that, versus it's just a mill process and he's just processing people through the mill as quickly as possible. So what am I looking for? Stability, integrity, good products, and a lender that will do what they say.
And a good Yelp review. That always
good Yelp. I need to do better with the online things. I'm more of a touchy-feely person.
Well, you ain't touching and feeling nobody right now.
and that's a good point. Now today, I think with this COVID-19, it's allowing us to be a lot more efficient with what we do with the online tours. It cuts down on the amount of people that are going to go through your home that really have no interest in your home. They're just bored. They just want to see what you have, how you decorate it, or maybe even see what kind of jewels you have laying around. So, with these online tours, it's made it more efficient. It's made you able to identify your buyer much more quickly, because the buyer is only coming to see your home once they've pretty much gone through the online tour and confirmed, hey, this is something I would be interested in living in. Now let me just go confirm that it looks like what the video is. So I think, the touchy-feely part now has changed to more efficiency now with the online.
They're serious. You've got people that are serious. And that saves a lot of time and effort with you as a realtor too, because that's a lot of work to go in and to show a property and, to make yourself available, because you got to get the sale. So it's a challenge. Susannah, I want to ask you a little bit about the lenders that you work with, because you work with people in residential, but they also come up with some very creative financing and really kind of help people work through that when it comes to like maybe using their VA or their first time buyers. What are you seeing?
Well, right now, some of these lenders, the ones that I work with are very creative as well. And you'll find that when you work with an agent, you'll want to most of the time work with one of their lenders because they have a very good relationship with them. They've done business with them in the past and they know exactly what type of person, how they conduct their business. So that's one. But the ones that I work with, like I said, they're great. They know how to get through this process right now. Everybody is in this wave of trying to figure out of how things are going to work in the future, how things are going to work in the next few minutes. So yeah, right now, the lenders out there are just trying to figure things out. So just make sure that you're working with somebody that has a lender that they've worked with before.
Well, again, familiarity, communication, looking for quality, and trust your agent. And don't be afraid, Brains. Again, I tell you all the time, we are living by faith, not by sight, okay? Because we're fighting an invisible enemy. But we got two great realtors right here, and brokers and managers right there here on the edge that are going to give you the information and the advice that you need. They're going to hold your hand virtually. They're going to love on you because I wouldn't bring them to you any other way. They are both here in California, but they both have connections all over the United States that can hook you up with the right people. Okay, and it's about trust right now. That's all we can do is trust. So Quentin Anderson, please tell my brains how to get in contact with you if they want to do some more information. Again, if they want to work out at the gym when everything gets better, or maybe they want to buy that piece of property you have for sale.
Thanks. You can contact me at dreamhomescalifornia.com, or you can call me directly at 619-846-0233. And if you're interested in any type of workouts, I can give them to you online as well. So well, social distancing, social workouts.
I know.
We got it all.
Susannah, and you?
Yeah, so I'm with Capitis Real Estate, office in Fallbrook. I work Riverside and San Diego County since I'm on the border. I can be reached at, my phone number is 951-691-2048. Or you can email me at susannahsellsrealestate@gmail.com. And
yeah, perfect.
Well.
All right. That is wonderful. We definitely want to connect with you. I can't wait to hug both of you guys up. You know, you mean the world to me. And thank you so much for being here on the edge and just trying to give us some comfort and some information so we can move forward and buy a house and try to resume life in a new normal.
Yes.
Resume life.
All right.
Thank you, April.
Thank you. I love you, Brains.
All right.
Hey, good to meet you.
Nice meeting you too.
Brains, go back and listen to other edgy conversations so you can meet people, okay? I need you to subscribe to everything. LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all over the planet. Yep, that's where we are right there. I love you from the bottom of my socks because my heart isn't deep enough. Be well, be safe, be kind, and bye.